Another development in the Giannis Antetokounmpo saga. We see in the Open Gym documentary, Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster desperately trying to trade into the 2013 NBA entry draft in order to draft Giannis. And how does this bode for the Raptors, who are trying to sign Giannis in free agency at the end of next season? Let's get into it. Welcome to Amateur Hour Sports, where, for now, we give you NBA content with a focus on the Toronto Raptors 4 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, but looking to expand that in the very near future, adding more content, adding live streams. You can check out the community information for more stuff on that, but let's get into today's video. If you like what you see from me in this video today and you want more of myself talking about the Toronto Raptors, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and join the movement of the channel. But again, we are talking today about Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, yet again on this channel, because there's been a new chapter, a new development in this Giannis and the Toronto Raptors, this saga. We now see footage in the Open Gym documentary where Masai Ujiri was trying to trade to get involved in the draft to get Giannis. He knew he was going around the middle of the first round, eventually went 15th overall to the Milwaukee Bucks, but Masai and Bobby Webster were going after the guy. Masai Ujiri, even at that time, there is great scouts in the Raptors organization. Part of it is because Masai Ujiri is there, but he said at the time they think that in 2 years after that draft, Giannis was going to be probably the best player there, and he's right. He's right. If you look at it, if you redraft, surely Giannis is the first overall pick. Now, the Raptors didn't have any first-round picks in that draft because they had traded it away the year before to acquire Kyle Lowry. And obviously, that was a phenomenal trade, bringing Kyle Lowry into the organization. The things he has done for the organization en route to becoming the greatest Raptor of all time, you had to give away a first-round pick to bring that into your team. So not a lot of leverage in these negotiations. They were trying to reacquire that pick so that they could trade up to get Giannis. Eventually, nothing came of it. It did not come to fruition. The teams they were trying to trade with, they wanted to trade with OKC at the 12th spot, but they decided to keep their pick and pursue Steven Adams in the draft. They eventually got him. They tried to get the 14th pick, I think, from the Timberwolves, but that didn't happen. And then Milwaukee takes him at 15, and so the Raptors do not bring in Giannis. But all hope maybe isn't lost. Obviously, everybody in the world knows that Giannis' contract expires after this season. Milwaukee is desperately trying to get him to sign his Supermax before the season starts, so they don't have to worry about this over the course of the season. But Giannis has said that he is focusing on basketball, which directly translates to, I don't think I want to re-sign here, so I'm going to value my options up over the course of the season. And at the end of the season, I'll decide where I want to go. So Giannis still needs to make a decision. Obviously, there's a lot of suitors. I mean, I think anybody in the NBA who has any sort of cap space is going to be gunning for this guy at the end of the season in 2021. The offseason of 2021 is going to be the Giannis free agent year. I'm very sure of it. And I don't think Milwaukee are completely out of the race at this point. I think they'd have to either at least make a final or win an NBA championship in order to keep Giannis with their team. I think if they get to the final and lose, let's say they get to the final and lose to the Lakers, I don't think he'll re-sign with Milwaukee. I just don't think Milwaukee have the market power, especially after trading so much away to get Jrue Holiday. I don't think they have the market power to bring in free agents, and I don't think they have the assets and trade negotiations to make themselves much better at this point. I think Giannis said in this offseason that the one player he wanted to play with this season is Bogdan Bogdanović, who the Milwaukee Bucks thought they had acquired, but actually never came to an agreement with Bogdan himself. So Bogdan decided that he was going to sign with the Atlanta Hawks instead, and that deal fell through. There was some issues with tampering. Whatever. Bogdan Bogdanović is not a Milwaukee Buck. The one guy Giannis said, I want to play with this season, bring this guy in, they did not bring in. So maybe a little bit of unhappiness for Giannis there, but at least they brought in Jrue Holiday to play with him. They gave away a lot, way too much to acquire Jrue Holiday. They gave Anthony Davis level return package for Jrue Holiday. We'll see how that works out. The Pelicans are going to be a scary team with all these assets they have coming into their team at this moment. But we're talking about Giannis. We're talking about the Raptors involved in Giannis Antetokounmpo signing deals. So Masai Ujiri, we know, has a great relationship with Giannis already. Early on in Giannis' life, when his family immigrated from Nigeria, where Masai Ujiri is from, to Greece, Masai Ujiri expedited the citizenship process for Giannis' family to get their Greek citizenship. And from that point forward, the families, they had a good relationship. Masai Ujiri has had a little bit of involvement in Giannis' development over the course of his life. Obviously, it's all on Giannis for the way he's improved himself, the way he's got himself to this NBA level, to this MVP level, this back-to-back MVP level. But Masai Ujiri has been a little bit there, kind of overseeing the process. He's been there. He's been involved in things that Giannis has had going on basketball-wise over the course of his life. And Giannis has said, in press conferences, in interviews in the past, that he cares for Masai Ujiri. So obviously, there is a good relationship there. Now, that could mean nothing. That could mean everything. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that Giannis and Masai already have this pre-existing relationship. Definitely not a bad thing. This only means better things for the Toronto Raptors, the fact that they have this relationship. And maybe it will come to nothing, but it certainly doesn't make the process less likely having this pre-existing relationship. So if Masai Ujiri can take advantage of that, build off this good relationship they've had and talk to him at the end of the season if he still has not signed a contract anywhere, talk to him at the end of the season, they've got a good relationship. That's going to help in a negotiation process trying to lure Giannis into the Toronto Raptors. And the Raptors have been preparing for a potential Giannis arrival with big contracts expiring at the end of this season, like Kyle Lowry making over $30 million. Not trying to sign too many players beyond this season. Right now, the big ones are Pascal Siakam's max contract. Obviously, Fred VanVleet on a backloaded contract where he's making, I think, like 18, 19, 20, and then $21 million. Maybe it's a little bit more in those benchmarks, but still, Fred VanVleet making about $21 million a year over the next 4 years. Matt Thomas is on a very cheap contract. Duan Hernandez was a guy that they waived who actually was on contract beyond the season, but they don't have to worry about that money anymore. Free up a little bit of cap space. Probably won't mean much in the Giannis situation, but maybe for this season, bringing in players. Norman Powell has a player option worth about $11 million that I don't think he's going to end up taking because I think he'll want more money. So the Raptors will have to evaluate their option at the end of the season. There's a lot of issues with contracts within the Raptors, but I think it is because they want to see if they can make enough space for Giannis, and I believe they do have enough space to make that work. It's just going to be a case of, does Giannis want to play for the Raptors? So are the Raptors the best place for Giannis to come win a championship? I think that really there isn't much better. The Raptors, I think, are the best place for Giannis to win a championship other than the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, the Golden State Warriors, with just the insane amount of talent they have on that team. James Wiseman going to be on a rookie contract for the next 4 years, and I think he has Rookie of the Year potential. I think he has potential to be one of the best bigs in the NBA. I think that is the best place to go win a championship. But, it's no secret that just going to play for the Warriors makes you one of the best teams in the NBA. Wherever Giannis goes, they become one of the best teams. The Warriors are already one of the best teams. I think it would kind of look a bit soft to go to the Warriors. But I think it would look soft to go to the Raptors as well. I just don't think it would look as soft, even though that the Raptors are the main rival, one of the main rivals in the East for the Milwaukee Bucks. I think it would look soft going to the Warriors. I think he would stay in the East, and I think the Raptors would be the best suitors for him in the Eastern Conference. I think they're preparing for his arrival, drafting a guy like Malachi Flynn, who is statistically fantastic in the pick and roll. Giannis, a player who is also fantastic as being the pick and roller. I think that duo would work very well together. Fred VanVleet is another guy who is great in the pick and roll. I think that a team with OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think that team as well with Fred VanVleet, that's a championship caliber team, no doubt. That is an elite championship contender. That team, I would be shocked. I would be shocked over the course of a Giannis tenure in Toronto if they did not win a championship. I think that Giannis, if he goes to Miami as well, has some really good potential to win a championship, playing with somebody like Jimmy Butler if he's still there. I think if Jimmy Butler sees Giannis there, he'll definitely be sticking around. I think that would be a good duo. But Miami, not quite as guard heavy at that point. I think that, still have Goran Dragic, but I don't think he's quite at the level of the Raptors guards that they possess and the Raptors guards that are coming through. Obviously, you still have Tyler Hero there, who I think has a very high ceiling, but I think that the best thing for Giannis would be playing with some very good, very efficient ball handling guards. And I think the Raptors have that, and the Miami Heat don't quite have guards to the level of the Raptors. Still some great guards in Miami, but I don't think they are at the level of the Toronto Raptors. And I think that's why it is necessary for Giannis to play with those guys on the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors have a great winning culture, having won the championship a year and a half ago. By that time, it will be 2 years since they won an NBA championship. A lot of the guys in this team already have that championship DNA. They've been there. They've done it in playoff situations. Giannis having never been to an NBA final, not quite there. I think the Raptors are best suited to go and win a championship if they bring in Giannis. The development team that the Raptors have, the coaching staff that the Raptors have would get the most out of the players surrounding Giannis and the most out of Giannis himself. Now, Miami as well have great coaching. I just don't think it's quite to the level of the Raptors. Nick Nurse, for me, is the best coach in the NBA, and according to the NBA, he's also the best coach because he won Coach of the Year last season. So absolutely, I think Miami is a great destination, but I just think Toronto is a better destination for the Greek Freak. I think if Giannis comes to Toronto, there is a championship in that. If he stays in Milwaukee, I don't think they will quite have enough. I don't think they'll quite have enough to get through the playoffs and win a championship. I just don't think they'll have the player personnel. I just don't think they get the most out of Giannis in the playoffs. Obviously, you can put some blame on Giannis himself, but Giannis is a full court offense player. That's why he thrives so much in the regular season. In the playoffs, it comes down to coaching. It comes down to the half court offense. That's where the difference is, because Giannis is the best full court player in the NBA. The fast breaks, the transition offense, that's where he is the best. But in the playoffs, when it comes to half court, set defenses, set plays, that's where they struggle a bit, because teams can get a specific defensive plan in place to guard a guy like Giannis. That's why he struggles. That's why the Raptors beat them in the conference final a year and a half ago. That's why not so long ago the Miami Heat easily took down the Milwaukee Bucks in 5 games. Giannis was hurt for some of that, but still, Miami steamrolled even in the games that Giannis did play. I think the Raptors coaching would get the most out of Giannis in the half-court offense in the playoffs, would get the most out of the guys around him. I think that the best team in the NBA that could take on Giannis, what he can bring to a team, is the Toronto Raptors. And for that reason, the best place for Giannis to sign in free agency is the Toronto Raptors. Will it happen? We will have to see. He'll evaluate his options. He may think he wants to go to the Golden State Warriors, but I think the Raptors are best suited to get the most out of him and the players around him if he joins their team. Every single basketball fan is going to have their opinion on where Giannis should go in free agency. Everybody's going to have their opinion. Every Raptors fan is going to have their opinion on how Giannis would do in Toronto, but let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Do you think that Toronto is the best place for Giannis to play next season? And do you think that Giannis will pick Toronto over any of the other teams? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. But that wraps it up from me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you are still here, please like the video if you like and subscribe to Amateur Sports for more content just like this. Like I said, we are planning on expanding to live streaming along with the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday uploads in the very near future. Check out the community tab on my channel for more information about that. At the end of the day, I believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time for another video.